Good evening, ASW, and welcome to the Town Hall with Mr. Z. Back with you again at our regularly scheduled time and looking forward to sharing lots of great things with you tonight. Just as a reminder, you should look to your comments for sending messages to us, and I can put them up on the screen as they come in and answer them. Or we also love having messages like this, hello, amazing ASW community, come through on an occasional basis. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can also approve StreamYard to allow using your name at your discretion. There should be a link in the comments that you can click on in order to give that approval. It's a one-click allow, and then you come back to the video and your name will show with your comment. On the YouTube, we don't have that option, but if you're watching on the YouTube feed, you can comment there, and I'll see it in the same feature. All episodes of the Town Hall are recorded while we go live with you. And then they're displayed on our various podcast channels later this evening, so you can watch them at your leisure or rewatch them as the case may be. So look for those channels as well. We have a real focus tonight on ASW for Ukraine. And so with that thought in mind, I'm going to bring in my partner in bringing others on board tonight and sharing lots of the stories with you and information, so we give you a sense of where we were going to go from here. So welcome, Miss Ligita. Miss Ligita, how are you this evening?
Good evening, good evening. I'm at the Lipova Center right now, ASW for Ukraine Center. This is our center with operations, and behind me you can see a lot of boxes. These are prepared for different centers around Warsaw, food to be delivered to the Ukrainian refugees. And probably some of you already been to the Lipova Center. For those of you who haven't, we invite you and your families to look around, to help, to volunteer, and to do it now. But also when we have a lot of requests from the community asking about summer, I can tell you we will have the ASW for Ukraine Center open. We will invite your children to volunteer at the center. We invite you to volunteer at the center. More information will come shortly.
So we're really looking, hopefully, to keep the center open through volunteers, maybe on a different kind of schedule, as we know some of our families are in and out of country during the course of the summer. But if you can give a day, a weekend, a week, of just some scheduled time, that would help us tremendously. We do have some key volunteers that have suggested that they're going to be available to us for some period of time, but there's lots of gaps to fill, and we're hopeful that many of you will consider helping and supporting us through the summer. Where do you want to go first, Ms. Ligita? I just want to say we probably should do a quick shout out of thanks to those who helped put the Lipova Center together. Do you want to remind us how we opened the Lipova Center and who's the key benefactors there?
So first of all, would like to thank the Margol family who gave us the building, and they kindly allowed us to have our different activities in the center. So thank you very much. But thank you very much for all the volunteers. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Brian, David. Thank you, David, who is in the United States, our chef David, and May, who is making meals today. But also thank you for coordinators, Pat, Stacy, Magdalena, Tanya, Celeste. We have quite a few Ukrainian volunteers working now for us, helping out in this center. So thank you very, very much, everyone. All the students, we have students coming to the center. We have a couple of groups of 5th graders coming in. We have high school students coming in. 10th graders will start volunteering as well. So our youngest volunteer is a 4-year-old, and she came during our vacation, and she was carrying and packing and doing all sorts of things. So many, many thanks to everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
And for those who may not know, Lipova Center is literally down the road from us. It's a very short distance away. It's basically 2 stoplights, and to the left, it's right off the main road. Real easy access. Our podcast goes out to a lot of people, so we want to make sure everybody knows where we're at and what we're doing. And it makes it easy access for our families to get to it quite easily with the refugees, and as well as to volunteer. It's very accessible and very easy access. There's a quick thank you, truly incredible work to the Ligita and team from our Facebook stream. Ligita, where do we want to go from here? I know we've got lots to share tonight and go deeper into the details. So who are we bringing on first?
So the first, I would like to invite Amanda, who is our core team member, and Amanda comes every Tuesday, Thursday. We used to come every day to our meetings in the morning, sometimes without breakfast, just doing, making decisions what we should do, how we can support different groups, individuals, and things like that. So Amanda, would you like to talk a little how we make the decisions and who we support? Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah. So thank you, Miss Lakita, for that lovely introduction. So yeah, my name's Amanda, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about all the decisions that we make because we really do so much to help our community, and we really couldn't do it without the community support. So if Mr. Zerfel, you'll flip to the first slide, please. Okay.
Let's give you the quick summary. So I wanted to make sure everybody had that up there as well. So as you're talking about the efforts, I mean, these are the numbers boiled down, but I know you want to get to the pictures. So let's go there.
Okay. So every 2 weeks, we send a large transport to the Ukraine border, and then we also supply the Bimova. Sorry, I have all my notes pulled up here. So we also supply the Bimovo Social Welfare Center twice a week. Next slide, please. We've supplied the Lubiskia Krolovska border once a week until we're supplying them until May the 1st. Next slide, please. We supplied the Milanovic Cultural Center once a week. We supply the orphanage in Constantian once in 2 weeks, and we support the Constantian Rehabilitation Center once in 2 weeks. And we also cook meals for the ASW families 6 days a week. So yes, we are doing so much. Next slide, please.
So that's that busy kitchen that we were talking about earlier that's at the Lipova Center. So this is all happening right at the Lipova Center on a daily basis, cooking meals for the refugees that are in our ASW host family homes. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So as you can see, we're just supporting a lot of refugees, and it's really important that we keep getting donations in and keep getting money so that we can keep providing everybody's needs. Next slide, please.
Actually, talk about this one a little bit because this one is us distributing food in Ukraine, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's important to see pictures like this because it humanizes the situation more. And I think if people know, oh, we're paying for food to be sent to Ukraine, but if you actually can see it and you see the impact that we have on these people, it's so important. So yeah, we're just distributing food in Ukraine here that we have bought or sent from donations. So,
I'm pausing for a moment because it's just striking looking at the faces and seeing the faces of the work and just the challenge that they're all facing, that you can see it in their eyes, and they're hopeful, that there's something there that's going to help them get through. But Judge, when I saw that picture when you sent it to me today, it just caught me tremendously in the context of all this. Tell us about this one.
Yeah. So we raised some money and we sent scooters and bikes to a children's center. I believe, Ms. Lakita, where was it that we sent those to again?
So this is an orphanage. It was displaced from Ukraine, and currently they're residing in Constantian. So as Amanda mentioned, we have a few organizations that we support regularly. Sometimes we make larger donations for different organizations, but this one, they come twice every 2 weeks, and they receive food. And their very special request was they need their kids to get busy, to do exercise. So they asked for scooters, and we were able to provide some scooters for the kids. This is where they live. They don't go out much, so this is how they spend their time, and they're pretty happy. They're very happy to unpack, make these scooters work. And again, we see the recipients. We see people smiling. It's incredible, and hope that kids enjoy it for a long time.
Yeah. One of the things we know about kids who are dealing with trauma is that they need those kinds of activities to kind of break them out of that trauma cycle. So it's so good to see some smiles and some activity because we know that that's helping them. How about this one?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about this one. So a couple of weeks ago, we had a request from the disabled organization in Kulava, and they were kind of asking for medical supplies. And then one of their really big needs was that they needed stretchers so that they could transport people with severe physical disabilities outside of the Ukraine border and just get them out of the country as easy as possible. So we were able to fill that need. And this is Miss Isa. She's so nice. She's so amazing. And that's her. We filled up her car with medical supplies and the stretchers and just everything that she needed. And I really think that this was one of a really important order to fill, because people with disabilities are just as important as people without disabilities. So I think it was definitely important for us to recognize that we could be helping all people of all abilities. So yeah, that's a picture of her.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't think about some of the outliers here, the disabilities, the challenges, and just being able to try to carry somebody is hard when you're trying to, get from point A to point B, and you've got lack of bridges and walkways and things like that. So it's wonderful to see, again, those efforts go to help in that regard. How about this one?
Ms. Lagina, would you like to talk about this one?
This is a photo of showing how much we really support, how much, what amounts we talking when we say that we send food to Ukraine. This is one of the pallets that we have. So usually it comes in a large truck, and we have 7, 5, 6, and Mr. Rodriguez will talk about this a little bit later in this meeting. But this is the amount we're talking. So we don't give a few boxes, but we are able to feed so many people. And thank you to all the people who donate to Rally Up, because using that money we can spend it directly this basic need, and believe many pallets like this leave the Lipova Center.
I think we're gonna go deep in this in a few minutes here and talk a little bit more about this. But let's just, I think that was the last slide. So let me go this so we can be a little bit bigger here. But Amanda, just tell me about the students and how they're stepping up, because I think that's so key to this. And I know you talk with your friends every day and interact with them. What are they saying, and what are they kind of challenging you with, and what kind of input are they giving you as we continue this project?
Yeah, so I'll kind of explain. So for 10th grade INS, our project is sort of, our next unit is kind of empathy for global situations. So with the crisis that's happening in Ukraine right now, we're really, every single class is trying to put together a project so that we can help the community as much as possible. And so I've had lots of people come to me saying like, oh, what's needs that need to be filled? What can we do? Like, how can you help us form a project? And I'm really, it's challenging because you want to help everybody, and you want every single class to have a different project. So I definitely think I've learned a lot about just being like a leader during these times, especially to my peers, because I wouldn't have expected to put myself in this situation. If you had asked me 3 months ago, if I would be here right now, I would have said, oh, that's completely crazy. But yeah, I just hear about it a lot every single day now. And, I'm super proud of every single one of my 10th grade student peers, because we're really trying to put together a lot of awesome projects to help the community right now. So.
Amanda, do you think that there's a piece of this that we were kind of prepared for this in some ways because of all the projects that are always going on at ASW? I mean, some of me says we were kind of prepped with smaller things that we could ramp up when the time came to do something bigger. Is that your sense of it too?
100%. I remember when I first got here, I thought, oh my gosh, ASW is such a giving community. Like when you look at all the service projects that we do every single year, it's just amazing what our school can accomplish. So yes, I definitely think in some ways we were unfortunately prepared to take on something like this, but it's for the greater good. And we were really able to step up as a community to provide for the communities outside of ASW as well as those within.
I mean, some of my fondest memories are going to be of those early days when the trucks were rolling in and we were moving boxes everywhere and resorting and getting things organized and boxing them again and then reloading them and sending them out. And we had hallways and trailers and everything going. And now we're kind of this fairly well-oiled machine that seems to be doing that without much impact. It's more invisible, but more efficient, I think, in the long run. Well, yeah, your 10th graders, and maybe this leads to bringing Anthony in, but 10th graders also just had a weekend experience with some kids. Some of our refugee kids. Was that 8th or 10th? I can't remember.
That was 8th grade, Mrs. Upul. Yeah.
So, Lagita, tell us about the 8th graders and what they did with the kids.
8th grade is very similar. They have a lot of different projects. They create websites, they prepare packets of food for the families. And one of the projects was to invite children from the Venezia orphanage that is displaced. Currently, they're residing about 40 kilometers away from our school. And they had the most fabulous day in our school. They were dancing, they were singing, they were playing, coloring, eating pizza, opening boxes with gifts and lollipops. Oh, you just name it. It was a wonderful day. Children were busy. Our students did the most fantastic job. Very well prepared. Kids didn't want to go. There were hugs. There were questions. When we coming back again? When we coming back again? And we promised you will come back again to school. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Is this a good point to bring Anthony in?
Let's have Anthony. He's working on the project, and Anthony will explain what these guys are planning to do.
So Anthony, tell us about your project, because I think this is a build on what we were just talking about.
So as part of our grade 10 individuals and societies class, we've looked at different refugee situations around the world, and now we're looking to turn empathy to impact. To do this now, instead of just talking about this, we will do something about this. We need help from the community. Together with Mr. Walborn and Ms. Legita, we are planning a field day for the Ukrainian refugee families on Saturday, May 21st, full of fun, engaging activities for children and emotional or physical support for adults, which will be student, teacher, or parent-led. And because of the generosity of the ASW community, we'll have the funds that we need, but now we have to spread the word to the Ukrainian community. This is a request. If you know any Ukrainian family or you would like to help out in this event, feel free to contact me or Ms. Legita, and we will give you further information.
Great. This is important, and I want to emphasize the piece you said about this time we're doing something for the parents, for the adults. And it's based on some context, but we're excited about doing a bit of trauma counseling and helping these adults who are kind of locked through this trauma, maybe in kind of a frozen state. They're in survival mode. And we know from other activities around the country that getting some counseling in Ukrainian or in Russian, if that's the language of choice, be able to present strategies that they can use to kind of break out of this trauma cycle to help them prepare for what the next steps for them and their children will be. We know that the vast majority of our refugees are hoping and watching and praying for the opportunity to go home. But in the meantime, and certainly we don't have a good sense of how long this is going to go on, we know that these families need support, and that they need not just the food and the lodging and the safe place, but they also need an opportunity to breathe and think about their future and be enabled with competent professional services to help them plan their next steps in life. So I appreciate the fact, Anthony, that your group is considering how we can do something for the adults while we're giving the kids another event like 8th grade did that gives them an opportunity to really open up and really connect and really do some amazing things. Thank you for that. And thank you to your team for that. Ms. Legita, what other things do you see on the horizon for, particularly school-based, in terms of grade levels and other projects that people are considering? What's on the template that might be thought about for kids to get involved in it? For any of the kids out there who might be watching with their mom and dad, and they're thinking about, how can I contribute? How can I get involved? What are some other things going on around the school?
So a lot of students actually come on Saturday. So if you have a couple of hours on Saturday from 10 to 1, please come. We have some regular tenders, Jasper and Iris, and other students as well. So thank you. Please do come. We have students working still with donations in school. So we have 6th grade students, 7th grade students who do, pick up donations from the school entrances and things like that. And I always encourage, say, be creative. You would like to do something different. You would like to have something, you think about your hobbies, what you would like to, for example, to offer to the kids or to adults from Ukraine. So you guys, you are very creative, and you can come up with many, many different projects. And we always find a place for you to do your work. And I just talked to the 10th grade team. They would like to come to Lipova during the week. And yes, they would like to do some cooking for the families. Please do. Please come. Please offer your support. I'm very sorry. I forgot to thank the cooking team at the very beginning. Thank you, Rupali, for coordinating the meals, and all the moms, and Kika and Carla for cooking with Chef David. But
a big shout out, of course, to PTO for helping to coordinate a lot of the adult step up to this. They're certainly giving us praise, but we need to shoot that right back to them for all of their orchestration. I know because I watch the busy WhatsApp channels, and I know that there's just always a call, and then before 30 seconds has passed, there's, I can be there. Yeah, I can be there. I'll be there in 15 minutes. And all of the energy that stands around that to support these projects. Now, earlier when you said they can come, you're talking about coming to the Lipova Center on the weekend. And what are the time frames for that on the weekends? Just so people know what to plan for.
It is Saturday from 10 to 1, but if you guys have something you would like to do on Sunday, we will be there. We will open the center. Whatever you want to do, just let us know, and we'll make sure that you will get involved, because this is the center for Ukrainian people, but this is a center for you guys, for children, for students, and the parents.
So Saturdays 10 to 1, and if you come and you have other ideas, we'll work with you to figure out how to bring that to fruition. And it's a great opportunity, even if you just want to stop in and see what's up. We're always there during those times to welcome visitors who are exploring and wanting to see what they might be able to contribute. So please feel free to stop by. Exact address on Lipova, Ligita?
It's Lipova 35.
Lipova 35. I couldn't remember the number. Thank you. So Lipova 35, everyone. Stop by on Saturdays 10 to 1 and get a chance to take a look at all this amazing work in action. Well, I think we will say goodbye to Anthony and Amanda. Thank you both for coming and joining us tonight and sharing all of this great work. Very much appreciate everything that you're doing. Keep inspiring your classmates. And keep working the process, because we're in this for the long haul. And before you leave, I want to say what I shared with the leadership team on Monday is right now, our kind of strategic plan is that we're continuing this work till December. That's the plan right now, because anything that might happen between now and the next few months, the reality is, with infrastructure and all the things that might have to go into repairing a country, it would legitimately be that we're going to be supporting refugees in this country till at least December, if not longer. So we're really thinking strategically about our tier 3 and sustaining these efforts for the long haul. So it just re-emphasizes for everybody out there watching, stay with us and keep helping us, because we've got a long road ahead of us, and we want everybody to stay involved. So Amanda, Anthony, send the message, and thank you again for all of your efforts. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ligita, I think we'll let's bring Paul in at this point, because I think we want to delve deeper into some of the things we're doing at the Lipova Center. So Paul, join us. Mr. Paul Rodriguez in the house.
Hi, John. Hi, Ligita. Thank you for the invitation. It's cool to be here and sharing all the good things that are happening over at Lipova.
And Paul has been, just so everybody understands, has been instrumental on the team in really helping with his partners orchestrate the heavy logistical lifting at the Lipova Center. I won't go much further than that, because Paul, I want to let you kind of share that with everybody. So let's bring that up on the screen and talk to us about the Lipova Center in more depth now. The kids gave us the overview, but let's go deep.
Sure. So before I go into what I and my compatriots do for the whole operation, I want to highlight that there's multiple things that happen at Lipova that I'm not going to talk about, and they're awesome things. Amanda spoke briefly about some of them. Ligita spoke briefly about some of them, but we have Chef May here. She's still cooking, hundreds of meals a week to support the Ukrainian guests and to offset some of the burden for our ASW community, as well as we have one of the youngest volunteers, months-old baby, who I took this picture today, who this is a Ukrainian mother who's helping with translating and working with the Ukrainian refugees who are coming to the location, needing clothing and everything from food and school supplies and everything like this. But
that's
lots of
an untold story, right, Paul? Is that we actually have many of our refugees who are also volunteering to help out in a variety of roles, right?
Yeah. So it's really like a story of inspiration where they just feel like the compassion overwhelming their cup, and they're asking to help. They love what they see. They really feel that they are just overwhelmed by the help that the ASW community is doing. So they're going to try to do their part in any way they can to support it. So, and this is along with the countless coordinators and volunteers that are also behind the scenes making all this stuff happen, beside the work that I'm doing. So
yeah, exactly.
I would like to add that this mom, her name is Julia, she has 2 more children, 5 and 7 years old, and they come every day with their mother and with the little baby Arkady to help in the center, and they really very, very helpful.
I couldn't take pictures of their children because they're always on scooters and bikes, so
Too busy.
They're too busy and too fast. But anyway, so once again, great things happening outside of what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to focus on what I'm directly working on. So, and what that is it's really the engine of operations associated with our, as my friend Brian Mason would say, the import-export business is what we're in.
There you go.
Transforming the Rally Up donations into like real help, like the hierarchy of needs. We're meeting it right there. And what I want to do is just show you what we've done this week. So this is just this week. Now, I've taken some liberties because I don't have pictures of things yet of some of the operations. So I pulled from previous supply chain type things, but you'll get the gist. You'll get the idea. So we've already, Amanda showed us Miss Izza. She was a wonderful, bubbling personality and very happy with everything that we gave her. And if you can see here, there's some food at the end because we didn't want her to leave with any space in her car. So the next is Bemovo. Bemovo comes twice a week. These gentlemen, Monica, who is not in this, is in this picture, but we all know each other. There's very little spoken because I have very bad Polish. They have good, okay English, a little bit, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We figured out a way, and we just get as much into these vehicles as we possibly can. The whole goal is to help as many people as possible, and these people are all over the place. You know, they're in and around Warsaw, they're in and around Poland, they're in and around the border, and then they're in Ukraine. And Ms. Ligita has come up with this ingenious way of having the group led by students decide who is in the vetting process, who we should support. They point in the direction and says, we're going to support Bemovo, and guess what? We support Bemovo. So this is another opportunity that we had. So Milanovic is here with their van. They come once a week, and I forgot to say, Bemovo helps 700 people in outside in the Bemovo district of Warsaw, and what you see there will be gone tomorrow. That's how like much help they need. So like we're changing people's lives and being able to give them that lifeline in order to sustain, just the basic needs. And that's with all of our partners. If they make it to our door, they've already gone through the vetting process to know that, they're important. They are doing great work. And you know what? We are here to help them. And you know who also was here to help them? Some fifth graders, because those fifth graders pulled those pallets apart. And these, so we got a delivery from our supplier of Selgros. We pulled the pallets apart. Those fifth graders came. They come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Milanova came on the same day, and we moved that stuff into the trucks out the same day. So,
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. And right now we are enjoying 3 Selgros deliveries a week, and using all of the product, like the products behind Miss Ligita. We actually we chatted earlier today about, are we going to have enough to support everybody for this week? So don't, because we fill entire vehicles to the brim. Now, this is our big partner, and what this happened on Monday, and what it is a soon-to-be ASW family who's connected to the greater ASW network, has ties with or runs a logistics company, and we work with him to get free transport to the border of Ukrainian trucks, using his knowledge and contacts within the region, then transport this stuff to the border, and they transport it to a mayor in a town that I'll get to in a second. But I want to show you a couple of these pictures because it shows the scale, right? So these are pallets that we're putting together to go to his logistics facility. So you can see there's you can see little white bags of rice, there's applesauce, there's pasta, there's sugar, there's flour, there's anything you can think of in the dry foods, canned food section of the grocery store. We got it going on this truck. We wrap them up, and they go on this truck, and they go to his logistics center. So I have a picture of his logistics center, and there's a reason why I'm showing you this. So they sit there until he has 18 pallets. 18 is the magic word, because 18 pallets fills a truck. And a truck then goes to Ukraine. And, I had an unfortunate conversation with him where people are no longer coming with support from all angles. So it's taken him longer to fill those trucks. So he is very excited about our relationship because we can help him sustain and use that network that he has to the best of his ability. But before I go from this picture, I want to show you this gold and black box. Okay. Our food is in these gold and black boxes. It's in the middle picture. You see it? Okay, cool. So after it goes to Ukraine, it goes to Vladimir. Vladimir is a town in Ukraine, and all these pallets are pulled apart and put into smaller cars and trucks and vans and all these places that are all vetted. We all know what everything's going on, and the only payment that we ask is some pictures showing where it's going. And because we just want to see some of these faces, we want to see that it's going into the right place. So this is a letter. I know you've seen it, John, but I'm going to show it to the greater community from this mayor, showing his appreciation to the American School of Warsaw. Yeah. And it's an unbelievable thing to have that level of just recognition that things are going well. But that's not what makes me happy. That's not why I do this. Why I do this is these pictures. So we've already seen the one on the one of these pictures, but you can see these vans similar to the one that are going to Bemovo, similar to the one that are going to Milanovic, but these are in like all around Ukraine. Our stuff is going all around Ukraine, and they're the gold and black boxes. Yeah. That's our stuff. That's our food. And they're going to all regions. And the best thing I want to do is I want to tell a story of it's going in cars, it's going in vans, it's going in, I bet that guy on the scooter back there has a couple.
Mhm.
But the real one I want to show is if you look behind our fifth graders, you can see little green boxes.
Yeah.
Those green boxes are full of applesauce. One of those boxes at Cell Gross costs about 4 zloty 49 grosz.
Yeah.
So about a little bit more than $1, right?
Yep.
The kids in the other picture, they're in Bucha. And this picture was taken, about 3-4 weeks ago. So they're in a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
And they're eating our applesauce.
Wow.
I don't know how better to tell the story than that we transform like a rally up dollar into a moment of peace in those kids' hands, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So now you can turn off. That's it for the pictures. But now I can tell you a couple things that I want to tell you there, John. The problem with our engine, and it's well constructed and it's very efficient. There's no overhead. We have no transportation costs. We have no labor costs. All we have are supplies, and those supplies are going to great places. The problem is the engine's running out of gas. I talked to the finance team today, and we only have a couple weeks left of money to support at this level, and then we'll have to make some hard choices, and it's very unfortunate. I would like to see this level of support throughout the summer and into your December timeframe. It would be a great thing. And so all we're really talking about is money. And I'm always a big fan, and you've known me for a couple of years now, John, that I put my money where my mouth is, so I'm going to challenge the community, if you don't mind, that I own a small company. It's called Avery Harper Solutions. And $5,000 is going to go as a match to in the next 2 weeks. So if we can raise $5,000 and rally up, I'll double it. And I want that to be like a catalyst of change to allow us to continue to move forward. And it would be a really good thing to see. So that's my speak. Do you have any questions, John or Ligita?
No questions, Paul. Just thank you for bringing the stories. And that's like I said about the first picture when it came up, you just see it on faces of how important we are. What a lot of people probably don't realize is that, in Western Ukraine, there's lots of little villages that are dotted all over. It's one of the charms of the country. But like many other places that I've visited in the world, when we get out of the big cities, those villages rely on an infrastructure of trucks that come on a regular basis, and that's their grocery store. That they don't have stores in these villages many times, and so their only store is that truck that comes every once in a while. And in the midst of war, those trucks stop coming.
Right.
These foodstuffs that we're sending are their survival. Otherwise, they're scrounging land and trying to pull together what they can, because they're not getting deliveries anymore. They're not getting, their infrastructure is broken down because it comes out of the bigger cities where their routes have been disrupted. We knew this early on because we talked to a mayor on the Poland side, very close to the border, about 2 kilometers away, a village, by the way, that's making meals for refugees as they come across the border, even though they're a village of only 2,500 people, and yet they're cooking and taking care of people on an ongoing basis. But they also are sending these trucks across the border to these villages that they have relationships with, that they know are not receiving anything anymore.
Right. And it's I've heard from our logistics partner, who has like a lot of contacts and is constantly like updating what's needed and things like this, and is constantly telling us like what he wants in those pallets, and he's saying that like literally, some of these villages, like this is it. This is what they are breaking this apart and figuring out how to sustain into the next delivery. And I I avoid like kind of thinking of the enormity of the situation and working
Yeah.
harder. That's my coping mechanism at this point. And I really hope that we can figure out a way to allow that to continue. Yeah. So and figure out a way that we can find the finances to make it work. And we're doing what we can on the cost side to like make the
Minimize.
most of the money and make the most of discounts. Like our partner, who's our main supplier, has given us a very generous discount as soon as they found out about what we're doing, and they're working with us to help us as much as they can. But the reality is dollars and cents, and we need to figure out a way through it.
I'm going to add another challenge to the table, Paul, and I thank you for your challenge, and I hope everybody will step up to this. But as you go in to meet Paul's challenge, I want everybody also to put out the word and suggest looking at the possibility of scheduling a donation on a monthly basis. That's an option in Rally Up. It's a tick box. You just specify an amount per month, and you can help sustain us for the long haul. And as we look at, strategically thinking this forward, we have some that have already done that, and thank you to those donors who have picked that monthly option. It's a percentage of our total donations, but we need more to do that route because this is a long, sustainable effort that's going to require that. We also would really like to reach out to corporate partners and corporate entities that would like to help support us, again, on the basis that we're doing this close to the border, direct access kind of work with almost zero overhead. And so, we are an entity that's worth considering in your framework of corporate social responsibility and the way in which you can support things.
And hey, John, can I offer one like refreshing thought, to move forward? So a friend of mine, he called me up and he's like, "Hey, I've been talking to my family about you." And when I say about me, I'm really talking about everybody that I'm working with. It's a lot easier to just to speak in the first person, but really it's a gigantic team, and I'm not taking credit for any of that. It's just we is the proper pronoun. But he was talking about what we're doing, and he's like, "Hey, I was telling my 9-year-old, and you know what she did? She made a bake sale, and that bake sale turned into $120. And here you go. Here's $120. I was talking to an old school teacher of mine. Her kindergarten class started picking up change, and they got $60, and they sent it to me. And you know what? $60 and $120. That's a whole lot of applesauce, man.
There you go.
I mean, that's
the more applesauce, the better.
Big donations are great. Little donations are great. Any donation is great. And
right, but I think you've also hit on another strategy: is reach out to your schools back home who want to do projects, who want to build a donation and send it in. Miss Legita and I were just on a call earlier this week with an elementary school in Maine, and they made fabric flags, Ukrainian flags, that they sold as a fundraiser. And I think there were a couple other activities, and they put a $2,000 donation from that effort in, just one school. And they're sending us $2,000 that they donated on Tuesday. Amazing. So, and we've been talking to schools all across the U.S. It started with Eloise. I have to be honest. Eloise kicked it off, and her buttons that she sold in an Italian restaurant and made $600. But we've talked to schools from Oregon to Maine, all across the United States, and we're very willing to do that. So if anybody's watching this podcast, which is going to be available to them, and we'll make it available through our Rally Up update channel. If there are other schools out there, please let us know, and we're happy to zoom in with you guys and talk to your school about what we're doing, who we're serving, sharing these photos and these stories with you so that you can have a good connection to the work that we're doing and feel like true partners in this effort. And I know that's a piece of it that really builds the commitment to continuing this effort is everyone's connection to it and feeling like they're really part of it. Well, the work continues, and Paul, I just want to take this moment to say thank you to everything that you're doing. I don't know if you want to shout out to any of your compadres and say thanks to them, but let me make sure that we're saying to all of your team how wonderfully I understand totally. I understand totally. Well, our thanks and our hats are off to them. And Legita, thank you for keeping the kids engaged on this, providing that organization for their leadership in decision making. I know that's a key part of this, and then us as adults can really empower them in doing this good work. So let's keep our efforts focused and keep going. And to all of you out there watching and listening, please help us find ways to keep this going. Let us not let this die with the summer. Let's make sure that we can keep the food going in particular and take care of our refugees in our midst and keep our efforts alive so we can come back in August in earnest and continue to support this effort as long as it's needed. All right. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Legita. I'll let you go and really appreciate you being here with me tonight.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, I just want to add one last thing, which is a real little shout out for the gala, ASW's gala on June 4th. Portion of the proceeds obviously helping this effort. So another option for considering how you can support this effort is join us for that ASW gala. It's our first attempt at this, and we're very excited about it. We just really want to do this to get together, yes, to celebrate, but also to look forward. And this will be an opportunity for us to share a little bit more about these things that we're doing, as well as what the school's doing, and have a real community together to celebrate all this good work and propel it forward. So I ask your consideration, gala.aswarsaw.org. Take a look at the website and please join us if you're able. And that's my latest pitch, and hopefully you're getting the messages so that you can make easy work of it. Come as an individual, come as a table with a group of friends, come as a corporate sponsor, whatever you're able, please consider joining us. That's it for me tonight. I'm not going to go into any other things at this point, but in 2 weeks' time, there'll be lots to update you on. And please keep track of e-notes and special and weekly updates for the latest information on our strategies. We're in a good place right now, feeling healthy, feeling well, minimal cases, and really feeling the spring weather. And so really enjoy yourselves out there. And as I wrote in e-notes tonight, happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Really want to say thank you to all of you and everything that you do on whatever your Mother's Day date is, depending upon your nationality. And really want to take this time of year to recognize you and all that you contribute to your children and to everything. Very much appreciate you. And don't worry, dads, I know your day is coming, and we'll get to that eventually. All right. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Please stay well and healthy. Ask us if you have any questions. And certainly, we enjoy this community that we call ASW Warriors All. Have a good night.